I don't.
You don't think the GIF is hilarious?
I mean, the GIF is hilarious. I guess the context wasn't really
Somebody
for me,
online put about how
No one's
all the
asking.
Dungeons and Dragons classes are
No one's asking.
are like brave or wise and all this stuff, and she left bards blank, and I thought that was very funny. But then I found the Simpsons GIF, and I said bards equal, and it's Troy McClure in the Planet of the Apes musical going, "I can sing." It's very funny.
Pretty funny. Anything with Phil Hartman, I think it's
That's a
funny.
hilarious episode. That whole bit is
You know
classic.
what?
He can talk. He can talk.
We have all classic Simpsons here at the
we
library.
have like 14 seasons
Yeah.
of The Simpsons here.
Yep.
You don't need the Disney app to
I
watch
just
The
checked.
Simpsons.
I mean, not personally, but I checked them out to somebody today.
Oh,
So-
yeah. But you did that personally.
Yeah, I
you
did that.
You always give a personal touch.
You're right.
When somebody's
You're
like,
right.
"Can I check these out?"
I'm a man of the people. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
You keep hope alive.
Yeah.
You got fuel to burn, roads to drive.
Yeah.
That song's about you.
Really?
You're the man.
Well, thank you.
No, not the man.
Oh.
You're the man that we're railing against.
Okay,
in
like
Rockin'
Amanda,
in the
like
Free
Amanda
World.
Bynes in the film.
Yes, you're Amanda Bynes. She's all
Okay.
that.
All right.
She wasn't in
she's
She's
the
All
man.
That.
She's the man.
I
That's
see.
that was the.
I
You're
see.
as crazy as Amanda Bynes.
She's got it together now.
She's better now.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I think she's planning a comeback. Though I don't know how you
Really?
can plan a comeback.
Really, really.
my next bard has to be Troy McClure. Absolutely. Get your
Uh,
hands off me, you dirty ape. He can talk. He can talk. I can
Oh yeah,
sing.
my wife quotes that one a lot.
That's so good.
Yeah,
Dr. Sayus, Dr.
that's
Sayus.
it. That's what she always does. Man, why haven't we done a Planet of the Apes spotlight? I'd be all over
We haven't
that.
read, I don't even know the French title of the original books.
Oh,
It is like The Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes. Yeah, yeah.
But-
It's always funny to me that the guy, I think it's Pierre Boulez, who wrote Planet of the Apes, also wrote Bridge on the River Kwai.
Oh, yeah.
Which is those just could not be more different. Those
Except
two
for
movies.
the newer movie,
Yes.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
That was very much Bridge on the River Kwai,
There
but
you
with
go.
apes.
You're right. There you go.
So-
Full circle. Full circle.
Most, yeah. Like, does Dusk have it together now, too, like Amanda Bynes?
Like
yes.
like Amanda Bynes,
This
I
is-
would say yes, he does.
This
in
is my
that.
comeback.
Yeah.
Me and Amanda Bynes, we did Hairspray, and now
Oh.
we're...
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can hear the bells.
Right. That was you. You sang that part.
I was the lead in Hairspray.
the lead.
yeah.
Good for you.
Why would I take anything less than a lead?
I understand. I understand totally.
So, sorry everybody. I had to get that gift.
No
and now I'm a
apologies.
little
No
loopy.
apologies necessary.
So, all right, let's do this. Let's record episode 2011.
Okay.
No, not 2011.
Just
I'm
211.
glad I said it first here.
I'm glad you did. So.
Ready?
Yeah. Am I ready?
Welcome to episode 211 of the All the Books Show, recorded at the David A. Howe Public Library. We talk book news, author news, literary news. That's it today. That
Yeah.
that
It's true.
gets everything in.
Yep.
That's the blanket
Yeah.
statement for
You're
what
right.
we're talking about today.
You're right. Sometimes you have to have a little caveat there, but this time we
Yeah.
are talking those things
Yep.
and those things only. I'm Nick Gunning.
I'm Eric Mickles. I had to say 211 because I was afraid to say 211, but
Yeah.
also say 2011.
Yeah, you did.
So,
You said
That
2011.
was,
Good year, 2011.
yeah.
Don't you think?
X-Men First Class.
Uh-huh.
The Marvel MCU basically kind of started
That's
there
when
with
it
Captain
begins.
America,
Yeah.
First Avenger.
Mhm.
Thor really kicked things off with
What are you
Loki.
going to do?
So
Yeah.
Green
saw Thor,
Lantern,
we saw
though.
Thor together.
We did.
in
It was
theaters.
a double date.
Yeah.
We saw Thor.
Yes, we did.
I saw Green Lantern in Japan.
Mm.
I mean, like the movie. I wasn't in Japan. I'm like, hey,
oh, it's
are
Green
you Hal
Lantern.
Jordan? He's like, oh, darn it.
I saw Green Lantern at the drive-in as a double feature with the third Transformers movie. I did not leave happy.
I came
I
back.
didn't leave happy.
I came back from Japan. It was a very long flight. I was kind of miserable. And then me and some friends went to see the third Transformer film.
Yeah.
I left kind of happy.
Perked you up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
No accounting for
those,
taste.
those like the first Transformers is very good. Well, it's good.
Okay.
It's watchable. It's the
Yes.
most watchable of the Transformer films.
Yes.
Anyways, the
Agreed.
third one
Maybe Bumblebee.
was
Maybe Bumblebee.
Definitely like, I don't know. It was big. It was loud. It had a better sense of humor than the second one.
yeah.
It clicked.
And it
Anyways,
had
this is not a
Had
Transformer
Hollywood
spotlight.
superstar Shia LaBeouf in the beginning
Yeah.
as well. So.
The whole time
That's true.
for the third movie.
Yep,
Had
you're
Leonard
right.
Nimoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, to save our planet.
Yeah.
I aligned with
But
Megatron.
But that doesn't he play Megatron in the movie? Isn't he Megatron in the movie?
I think it's the original. Oh, maybe
The animated movie. I
No,
mean.
he plays the big ball.
Galvatron.
planet. Or whatever. I don't know. The planet ball.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll
We'll have Roger, our senior intern, fact check that.
I've never seen the Transformers animated
I
movie.
haven't either, but it looks insane.
I've never seen any animated
Man,
Transformers.
you know what? I wish we were talking about Transformers today. I'd be all
Yeah.
over that. But we're not. We're not. Today, Eric's going to be featuring some of his favorite
hold on.
upcoming young adults.
That was Orson Welles in the
Oh,
Transformers
okay.
animated movie.
All right.
Unicron. Unicron.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, well, you screwed up my intro. So why don't you tell everybody what we're going to be doing
no,
today?
I just wanted.
No.
Oh, okay. We're talking about Orson Welles'
No,
unfinished
nope.
project.
No, we're not.
Can we can put a man on the
No.
moon, but can we put a man in the
No.
family?
No.
It's about the nuclear family falling apart during
Okay.
the 70s.
I was correct that he did play Galvatron in Transformers the movie. Leonard Nimoy played Galvatron in the original movie
Okay.
and was a villain in the later one.
Okay. But,
Yep.
Well, that does it for our Transformers spotlight.
Yeah, that's
Now
all.
let's transform
He's-
into a viable podcast.
He's Sentinel Prime in Transformers Dark of the Moon, but we're done. We're
Yeah.
done with Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
We're done with Transformers.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about new YA that Eric has selected from our YA collection. That's what we're doing. Lock it in. It's done.
podcast in disguise.
That's right. I like it.
Sorry.
I like it. Okay. Let's dive into Bookmark.
Okay. Whoa. Bookmark. I like it
Okay.
because it sounds like Ben is out of tune with himself.
Yeah.
And you imagine, like, after he recorded that little tune, Ben was then yelling at the other Ben, like, didn't I tell you how we were going to sing?
Just to clarify for the uninitiated, Ben is the one who does all of the music for the All the Book Show. Thank you, Ben Lehman.
Yep.
Here's some things that I've been reading, Eric.
For Bookmark?
Yeah, for Bookmark. So I've read quite a few random issues on the DC app. I've been reading a lot of...
Real quick.
Yes.
How do you feel about the DC app now? Because you were not a fan when it
Yes.
first started, and
Yes.
you kind of gave it a scathing review
I
as
did.
a DC fan.
I did. Well, when it originally debuted, it just didn't have comic books on it. It had like, like 5 or 6 Aquaman titles, 5
Uh-huh.
or 6 Batman titles. I mean, it was nothing. It
Right.
was nothing, And now it almost has everything. Like
Goodness.
I'm genuinely surprised when I come across something that's not there. So yeah, I've been having a good time with it. I've watched the first season of Titans. I haven't watched really any of the other originals. They're just a little too dark and trippy for me. But I enjoyed the first season of Titans despite the
blood,
violence,
yeah.
which I basically just look away whenever that starts. The premiere of season 2 has come out. I haven't seen it yet. I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
But the comic books are off the charts on that.
Okay.
So I've been reading a lot of Steve Englehart stuff because we're going to be talking to comic book legend. Steve Englehart in the next week here. So, of course, I'd read some of his things, but a lot of it is unconnected. So I've been going through kind of piecing it together. Some cool Batman arcs. I just read a JSA thing that he did, which uses a lot of characters that you now see in the CW show.
Yeah.
All of them. So that was an interesting run to read. Specifically want to mention Strange Apparitions. This was one that Eric had read, I don't know, a couple years ago and recommended to me. And I finally got around to actually sitting down and reading it. And it's just a cool take on Batman. I mean, the whole story, everything that you see in there just feels very realized, and all of the characters seem, I don't know, they seem legit. It just seems like it almost feels more like you're reading a novel because he's just accomplishing so much with so little,
It you can tell that he's using some things he probably learned over at Marvel with like the whole soap opera nature.
That's fair.
But it's so much more dark and brooding than it almost kind of felt like Marvel's like monster books, like the Werewolf by
Agreed.
Night or Tomb
Yeah.
of Dracula with the tone. Like it's not a tone that you would have expected from like Spider-Man at that
Yeah.
time, I think.
Englehart did write some of the Dracula run too.
Yeah.
So,
I think he had, and you're right. Each one is very standalone. Like Batman's dealing with the Joker, Batman's dealing with
Phosphorus, Dr. Phosphorus.
right, Dr. Phosphorus. But he's got this underlying kind of soap opera between Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Silver St. Cloud.
Who he created.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he created. I also didn't realize that Englehart created Star-Lord and Mantis from the Guardians of the Galaxy. I just didn't realize that.
Hey,
so
all
I mean, that's
right.
pretty cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
but we're going to be talking to Steve Englehart
Yeah.
next week. But I did read a lot of his Batman.
Yeah.
Some is collected, some's not. I've been reading a lot of his Green Lantern, which fits well with the Green Lantern kick I bet him anyway. But quite a bit of that is uncollected. So I'll mention Green Lantern of Sector 2814, Volume 3. That is when he kind of takes over, and that includes the beginning of that run. And this is where you're focusing on the Jon Stewart character and sort of bringing Guy Gardner and basically establishing what we know as the Green Lantern Corps now.
Right.
Making it like a team,
Oh, okay.
making it a little bit more like, universal. Like
Right.
they're from all over the place.
Like Super Friends.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
So it's a pretty cool run. So I'm still reading that.
Uh-huh.
I read the Coming of the Supermen by Neil Adams. Are you familiar with this?
No.
What about Batman Odyssey?
No.
Neil Adams, who is also a comic book legend, did these more recently, and they are very the response is really divided on
Right.
both Coming of the Superman and Batman Odyssey. So I read Coming of the Superman because it's just a standalone Superman. You don't have to read it with anything else, and it is weird. I mean, I get why people don't like it. It feels like some sort of weird, like somebody put it in a drawer in the early '80s and just found it and published it. But like for me, that's the kind of Superman I like.
Okay.
Things got weird for Superman in the '80s and early '90s, and I kind of liked this odd vibe that you have going on. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
So those are the graphics that I finished.
Okay.
Read a couple of books.
Neil Adams, the artist, we should say.
Well, actually, he wrote and drew
he
it.
wrote this.
Yeah,
shit.
he
Okay.
did that and Batman Odyssey. I should have mentioned that. Yeah,
Okay.
he's the writer and the drawer
Wow.
on both. I don't know if you say
Cool.
drawer, but penciler. I guess
He drew him.
Yeah, he did. You're right. Yeah. So read a couple books. Space Prison by Tom Godwin. So this is the original title of this was Survivors,
And then it became Lockout, the Guy Pearce.
yeah, pretty much. Survivors makes so much more sense because this is the story where a planet gets taken over. They pretty much enslave the population, except for people who are there like, you're not even worth our time. So they leave these people on the planet after they've destroyed the planet and taken all the natural resources. These people are just kind of left to die.
You read this digitally.
I did. I listened to an audiobook
right.
of this, and it was cool. The audiobook was well done as well. And that's basically just what it is. You see a couple generations of these just people who were just cast-offs establishing a society and trying to just regain footing on this planet. And that's what this whole story is. There is a sequel to it. You can read it standalone, but it's kind of a game on sort of an ending. You know what I mean?
Ooh, okay.
Versus and this is the end. It's
Right.
like a here we go.
Okay.
So it works on its
yeah.
own, but I think I'll probably pick up the sequel.
The tagline on the paperback says, "Marooned on a hell world."
Fair.
Okay.
That's fair. But there's no, I mean, it's a metaphorical space prison.
Sure.
I think they're all living in their own
Right.
space
You
prison.
got the job that
Yeah.
you thought you wanted. You did the rat race. You
Yeah.
kissed the right butts.
Yeah.
You're there. You're making the money. You go home.
Yes.
This is it.
That's a space prison of your own
Space
making.
prison of your own
Space
making.
prison of
Mad
your own
Men.
making. For some of us, illiteracy is our space prison.
Oh, three
with
amigos.
thanks
Yeah.
to the three amigos. Yep.
The paperback also says space prison, and then right under it says original title, The Survivors.
Yeah, that's
It's
much
like,
better.
Why do you? Okay.
Well, I mean, I get it. Space prison is like a sexier, pulpy title than
That's true, yeah.
Survivors.
Space prison.
Yeah.
All right. What else did you read?
I read Leia by Claudia Gray. So I've got a real hot cold relationship with Claudia Gray. I got to tell you, you read Lost Stars and liked it,
Yes.
right? Okay. So the first book I read by her was Bloodlines, which is a grown-up Leia book, and it
Jeez.
is.
Apologies
is
to
as-
everybody who likes reading young adult, Nick.
Well, I mean, that's what it sort of is.
Right.
It's like there's Leia, Princess of Alderaan, which is like the YA. She's a teen
Right.
girl story, and then there's Bloodlines, where she's like an adult post
politician.
the movies in a political landscape.
Right.
Bloodlines is as dry as toast.
Bloodlines is after Return of the Jedi as well,
It
right?
is. It is. So that I was just I love Leia, and I was bored to tears.
Okay.
This one relied heavily on some well-known YA tropes that sometimes work and sometimes was like, yeah,
Right.
okay, all right, she's in love with the teenage boy. We get it. Let's move it along.
Sure.
So this was kind of middle of the road for me. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. If we could have just focused on Leia herself without the love interest, I think that it probably would have
Okay,
been better,
yeah.
but whatever.
Solo did that too. They throw in these love interests that we know go nowhere.
Right.
And it's just like, well,
Yeah.
this isn't doing anything. Like, you
Right.
know she's not going to end up with this. I imagine he's kind of a goober.
Kier is his name.
Okay.
I did really like Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray.
Okay.
The Obi-Wan Qui-Gon book. If you haven't read
Ah.
that and you're a fan of Star Wars, I say check it out. Even if you don't like the prequels, which is most of us, I think that Master and Apprentice will do a good job.
Oh, that's
for you
the
there.
Obi-Wan Anakin one.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's Qui-Gon Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon Obi-Wan. Yep.
Well.
So that's it for what I read. I'm currently reading a Star Trek Deep Space Nine book. I've read very few of these.
I couldn't find the cover for this, and it only dawned on me. It's because this is like a kid's series.
Yeah, it is a younger. It's an author that I've read some of his other stuff, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize he had Star Trek, so I picked it up.
The kid on the cover is carrying like a space pig.
He's got like a space pig. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, you know what they name it?
No.
Babe. So
Hey.
maybe it is a space pig. Maybe it is a space
All right.
pig. That's it for me. I have to start. Well, I don't have to. I get to
Woo!
start. Catcher in the Rye. Catcher in the Rye for our banned books book club that we're going to be doing here. I also reread Batman Year One, which is and it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, no surprises there, but I think I liked it even more this time. And part of that is because I was using the DC app and I could go panel by panel, and it just worked really well for that.
Sure.
That is an expertly done. Hats off to you, Frank Miller, on that one.
And David
Just on that one.
Mazzucchelli,
Okay.
the artist.
The art's very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Better than Frank Miller art. I'm looking forward to reading Superman Year One, but I've not heard many good things about Superman Year One.
I'm looking forward to reading it because it's just going to be some kind of new weird Superman thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting to walk
Well-
away being like, that's a good Superman story.
Yeah.
I was shocked by Dark Knight 3 Master Race
Yeah.
being as good as it was.
Yeah.
But when you read something like Dark Knight Strikes Again, you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, a little
So
wild. I read Batman Year One, starting the J.D. Salinger there for the book club, and then also like Water for Chocolate is our final Around the World book club book, so I'm going to be reading that in the coming weeks as well. So my to-read stack just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I also beat Mega Man 5, everyone.
Goodness.
Beat Mega Man 5. What are you going to do? Good times. I liked it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. In some ways, I think maybe it was my favorite of the Mega Man.
Mega Man
so far.
5.
I really liked
Wow.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Started Mega Man 6. We'll keep you posted.
Okay.
That's going to do it for me, bookmark-wise. What about you, Tiger?
All right. So I finished reading
I'm
what is
excited.
basically Essential X-Men Volume 11,
Okay.
which means I've now finished all of like what you would have collected in Essential X-Men.
I see.
So this means I have read all of Chris Claremont's original X-Men run, his 17-year run on the series.
Okay.
Because I had read it a bunch before, but then I don't know if you ever noticed this, but there came a time where like the essentials were no longer being printed new, so some of the later copies were very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So I have like all of them, but the last 3 Essential X-Men, because you have to pay like $50 to $100 now for them, and they're just black and white collections.
They're hard to get.
So
it's the same with DC's like showcase. and
Yeah.
stuff, or the the color printed ones, the
yeah.
archives, like the DC archives.
Mhm.
They're great to have, but even like the worst, stupidest character
Right.
is like volume 3 for $68.
Yeah.
You know.
Marvel's now printing them out in their Epic collections, and those are in color. So that's a cool way to go now instead.
Yeah. There's one place where I am a little disappointed with the DC app, because reading all this Green Lantern,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to read some like Alan Scott Green Lantern, and it's just not there.
Really?
They just don't have it. They've put like the first issue
Hmm.
of Alan Scott's introduction from the 40s or whatever,
Right.
but nothing else. So that's kind of disappointing, because I have, I don't know, I guess I have a respect for the comics of the 30s and 40s.
Mhm.
They're not often like super compelling.
Right.
Like I read Golden Age Flash Volume 1, which is Jay Garrick, and most of the time I find Flash just to be sort of a didactic nuisance to people.
Uh-huh.
He's not so much a crime fighter as
Right.
like he just shows up and is
Yeah.
a buzzkill.
Okay.
But still, I would have
Right.
liked to have read a couple of them. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, someone had to keep the lights on in the 30s.
you're right. And it was Jay Garrick, the Flash.
So, Nick's walking away now.
I
That was
knew
his,
you
that
were
wa-
gonna
no,
say it.
that
I
was
knew
your mic
you were gonna
drop
say it.
That was your mic drop moments. Anyway,
I just want my water, and I thought, how can I do this without him commenting on it? I'll wait till he starts
No, man.
talking. It's impossible.
I'm a people
I'm
watcher.
going to get my water.
All right. Left foot, right foot. Now, so basically, I picked up where I had left off a while ago, which is like right after Mutant Massacre, right around like 1986 X-Men, and this goes to like 1991. A lot of changes happened in the X-Men as I was reading it. Jim Lee came on, and this was kind of like his big break, and you can kind of tell in his early artwork like why we're still talking about him whenever he does just like, hey, look, I drew Catwoman and she's climbing a building.
Yeah.
And we're like, whoa.
Yeah. His stuff is really amazing, which again was a lot of my disappointment with Hush, was that they didn't even try to
the new
do
movie,
that.
yeah.
Fun fact, they now have a specific Jim Lee pop figures.
Ooh.
They take like the pop figure design and style them like hair and everything, so it's like whipping in the wind.
Fancy.
So it looks like a Jim Lee.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Yeah,
still a
his-
pop figure. But
Everybody's hair is always in the wind.
anyway.
in
Oh, yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the Dust Bowl, basically. Is what's happening.
Rogue, throughout reading this,
Ah!
when you first meet Rogue, she's definitely presented as like an older woman. Like the
yeah.
white in her hair, you're like, oh, okay, she's as old as Mystique is supposed to be,
Right.
or so. But as artists come on, they just make her younger and younger until
Yeah.
Jim Lee's here. He's like, also Rogue is super sexy. I don't think that's that was another thing Jim Lee did. He's like, hey, Psylocke now only wears a bathing suit. It's my style. But during this run, Chris Claremont is becoming unhappy at the end because now Jim Lee has been coming on and he's taking Marvel as like a company is much more into Jim Lee and artists like Rob Liefeld for the audience they're bringing in than, say, the writers. So Chris Claremont is starting to be less interested. So Claremont, this collection, and what I stopped with is like the first 3 issues of X-Men, like the new like non-descriptive X-Men, just X-Men 1, 2, 3.
All right.
X-Men 1 by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont is still the highest selling comic book ever.
Really?
In the millions. So many different covers as well on that one. And Claremont says writing those 3 issues basically paid for his house. So he kind of wrote that as like a severance package to himself.
It's pretty good.
It was all good stuff. I'm sad it's done. I think one thing that makes me sad while reading this run is because you don't really get this too much where one person is writing the same team for 17 years, where everything, if he's writing something in his year 3, it's probably going to matter in year 10 when he's writing. And so you read stuff in this that's happening, and it kind of makes you sad that maybe there's less emphasis on how those things matter because there's so many series and things get rebooted and all this. It just, because some of this stuff is so good, but now it's just, not important anymore. That's it. Anyways, I liked it. I'm going to take a break from reading my 80s, 90s X-Men for a while because I also read Scarlet Spider. I finished Scarlet Spider by Chris Yost. This is Kane.
Okay.
The evil clone of Spider-Man.
Yes.
He tried to be a hero in Houston, Texas.
Well, good for him.
Doesn't work out for him.
Okay.
Yeah. Volume 4
Darn
ends.
it.
You can tell that they were like, cancel
Darn
this,
it.
and Yost had more to do. So it kind of ends. Everything's cleaned up in like the last issue in kind of a messy and unsatisfying manner.
Yep.
Apparently, he joins the 2014 reboot of New Warriors. I might check that out to see how it goes. That's it.
Do it.
I got so much farther in armor now. I had to go take my car in to get the engine checked, and it took a long time. So I read a lot of armor.
A lot of
This
armor.
book is very strange. Remember I said I thought we were starting in media res, where like we're seeing the character like on the battle with the ants.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then we go meet. It's a different character.
Oh.
The character we met in the beginning, his name is Felix.
Okay.
The character we're following now
Oscar?
is Captain
Underpants.
Jack Crow.
Oh, okay.
He's like this famous space pirate who's known for being terrible, and he's a terrible person. The things he does in this book and that we're just reading, it's like, I don't think you get away with doing this stuff. I'm not going to say what he does, but if you're thinking, could it be worse then? It is.
Wow.
But what happens is they find armor and they are able to like live the life of the person who had it. Turns out it's Felix. And now we're following Felix's story through their reading of this armor. So
You just took me for a ride, my
But
friend.
you and I were joking because on the All the Book Show Twitter, we joked about how our
At
titles
All the Book Show.
were very specific. Like
Yeah.
yours is Space Prison and mine
Space
is
Prison.
Armor.
Right.
And you were saying like yours takes a big twist and everything.
Yeah.
This one
Well.
really is like, I joked like, oh, this is more about like emotional armor. The character Jack Crow, who is like, this terrible space pirate.
Okay.
He's crying wearing this armor because he always
Sad.
thought he was the toughest person in the galaxy, and he's finding out no, this guy Felix was because he refuses to die and all. It's just this. It's this weird.
Felix.
Yeah.
Doesn't strike me as a tough name.
In the 80s. Felix.
No.
It's that X at the
The
end.
X is something.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd just go by X.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool. Felix Leiter from the James Bond
Yeah,
films.
he's cool at times. Anyway, this book is just this weird, like, you think it's going to be this, like, military sci-fi book, but it becomes this take on, like, the mental and emotional. What just flashed?
What?
Something just flashed.
Oh,
Like-
I'm being programmed.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, it's this weird emotional and mental takedown of these characters
Okay.
in this book, and it's confusing. Anyway,
Okay. But you like it?
I guess it's
Is
just bizarre.
It feels like the start of a series, is it?
No.
Oh, really? Just standalone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. That's it.
All right. That's it for you, bookmark-wise.
Sure is.
Let's do some book news. I've got bad news.
What?
I've got bad news for all you
What?
Grisham fans.
Oh, no.
You'll remember several episodes back, we got to talking about how Hulu was making their own, like, Grisham verse,
Yeah.
lawyer verse. Guess what?
What?
Pulled the plug on the whole thing.
Yeah, what happened?
Not going to do it.
Is it Grisham? Is it?
I kind of wonder if it's more a Margaret Atwood situation, because suddenly they've signed this big lucrative deal to to have the rights to The Testament,
Oh, right.
the sequel
Book
to
2.
Handmaid's Tale, which
Right.
is up for the Booker Prize, shortlist and everything.
Okay.
They've already committed to doing a series
You
on
think
that.
they ran
so-
out of money for a Grisham
Well,
verse?
I don't know. It just seems like all of a sudden there's
Hmm.
big announcements about that, and then they're like, by the way, no more John Grisham. So I kind of wonder if
Okay.
maybe there was, or maybe they just thought that like dad brand of Grisham is not the direction they want to go. I don't know. I mean, I'm a big Grisham fan, but I wasn't particularly. I didn't need a interconnected John Grisham universe for anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there just wasn't a huge market for it. I really don't know. But it was a strange thing to announce so fervently and then just kind of dial back,
Right.
you know. I want to talk a little bit about some page-to-screen adaptations that nobody has anything nice to say about. You were telling me
The
about one. Do you want to bring up
Goldfinch.
Goldfinch? Yeah. So Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, which was a huge book when it came out. It was
Mhm.
like sort of like Crawdads now. It was like you just couldn't get a copy of the Goldfinch, and everybody was talking
Right.
about it. And it was
Sure.
everywhere, you know. Huge book, huge book. I've seen it described as Dickensian, and I think that's true because you have your main character just going through a series of woes, going from like sad situation to sad situation, and you're just kind of following his trajectory and all that. So definitely some parallels there. The book is the movie is kind of high profile. It's got Ansel Elgort and Nicole Kidman, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, there was excitement when that was first announced, but it seems like pretty universally everybody who's seen this movie says it's terrible.
Yeah. I saw one tweet that was like, "This is the longest movie you'll see all year. Don't at me," and all this other stuff. So,
Well, like IndieWire, for example, said it was a lifeless film that doesn't consist of scenes so much as it does an awkward jumble of other smaller problems stacked up on top of each other like kids inside a trench coat.
right.
Collider gave it an F, by the way. They gave it an F and said a vapid prestige film, a cold, heartless, sterile look at survivor's guilt in the face of a senseless tragedy. It's just, I mean, I defy you to find a good review of this book. And the movie. The movie. And it seems like a lot of the criticism is going towards the coldness of the movie.
Yeah.
So obviously this isn't out yet. I haven't seen it. I don't know.
I saw something saying it's overly detailed. Like the
Yeah.
director is just in love with the cinematography and
Yeah.
sets and all that stuff.
Well, and all of those criticisms, I think, having read the book, they make perfect sense to me.
right.
Because it is about like a child losing a parent, finding other safety nets, having those pulled away. Like it's about somebody who just cannot catch a break, but it is told in a very emotionless sort of way.
Okay.
You don't have a lot of scenes of this main character being like, oh, whatever am I going to do now? Things happen, and he's kind of like, boy, that sucks. Now I got to figure out the next step. It's never. It explores like sadness and guilt and isolation very indirectly, you know, like it puts a lot on the reader to pay attention to these characters and kind of figure out, wow, this must be the way he's coping with, you know, A, B, and C and all that. It's not the kind of book that is going to give you these like really hearty, like let's have a good cry emotional kind of scenes.
Okay.
And it is like overwhelmingly detailed. It goes through many different stages where the character is in this setting with these people and then this setting with these people. And then we revisit some of the older ones, but it's like a bunch of little mini books like back to back to back to back. So the criticism that it's like kids in a trench coat, that it's emotionless, I understand how that could come out of this book.
Right.
So it just seems like maybe
Yeah.
almost like it was adapted too literally, you know, without like the changes it needs for the screen. So I don't know. I love the book.
29% on Rotten Tomato at the moment. That comes out this week,
I think so.
the 13th. Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to rush to theaters to
Cool.
see it, but I still, having read the book.
Uh-oh.
Like, what?
Nick's gonna like the movie.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If I had to put
don't
money
know.
down, but now that I've said it, I've messed up
Yeah, you have.
the
You've thrown off the rubric.
experiment.
I don't know. I really don't know because as soon as when I finished reading it and realized they were adapting it, I was a little puzzled on how they're going to make that work. Because if anything, it should be like a Hulu miniseries, like an 8-hour,
Oh,
or
boy.
like a Big Little Lies kind of situation.
Okay.
Would make so much more sense than just a
Right.
straight movie. So I don't really think it's going to work.
Yeah.
I understand the criticism, and I'm curious to see what it's going to be like.
Movie is 2.5 hours long.
Well, that's a long haul. And then the next one is It, Chapter 2.
Also bad reviews.
Also bad reviews.
Yeah.
It's another one that like the
People are
first.
saying Bill Hader's very good in it.
Yeah, that's what I hear. The first one just had nothing but positive, glowing
For the most part,
reviews,
yeah.
You know, I think overall,
Pass.
except for the wrong color Legos. You know,
Yeah,
of course, in the
sure.
trailer, people were upset about. But chapter 2,
Mhm.
like looking at the reviews of this, it seems to be overly long. It says 2 hours and 50 minutes. But
Yeah.
wait, how did you describe it? You said as far as like as a horror movie, it's
I,
not,
I, the general consensus seems to be people think it's better as a comedy than a horror film.
which is bizarre.
Yeah, one person said that they try to make it too much like of an adventure film.
Okay.
And it undercuts the horror. But I haven't read the book. I haven't seen these movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the other movie. I have no connection. Good
So
luck,
my-
chapter 2
Yes,
viewers.
my brother Steve, regular correspondent here on the All the Book Show, is an It aficionado, having seen the original miniseries, the book,
Okay.
and all that. Loved the first movie. He enjoyed this one, but I think
Right.
he described it as like the scariness comes from like jump scares and less coming from like thoughtful, like layered suspense. So I don't know. I'm just surprised to see both of these movies coming out with
Yeah.
just pretty much universal disdain,
yeah.
given their pedigree and given the excitement around them. So
Hey.
interesting. It's interesting when that happens.
Yeah. Daniel Heaney has joined the Wheel of Time series. He's playing Lan.
I don't know who that is.
Who? Daniel Heaney? He's from
Yeah.
Criminal Minds. I'm not sure what you might have seen him in. Hawaii Five-0, Revolution, Criminal Minds. Anyway, he's playing Lan from the Wheel of Time.
Oh.
Because we read the cast list before.
I
But
see.
that was a character that hadn't been cast yet.
Okay.
So he's more of a name than those like up-and-coming kids were
Yeah, I guess so.
that we read.
Is
But
that
I've never
true?
watched Criminal Minds.
Some of the people were known.
I think they were all just like
Except
fresh
for,
out of
what's her
acting
name? Except for
school.
Rosamund Pike,
Right,
She's
yeah.
the only one. Are you going to force yourself to read the rest of the books in rapid succession so that you can watch this?
I'm not watching the show until I finish these books.
Really?
Yeah.
But I mean, I've known you for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't.
I read the first 4 books.
I know that.
It was getting this job that stopped me reading
How-
the books.
Oh, okay.
So,
how many years ago was it that you read the 4th book?
I finished it when I started here. So
like-
about 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
not that long.
It's a little long
Okay.
when you're
The
what?
amount of time that
You're
came
like
out
a
between
third
Harry
away.
Potter 4
Yeah.
and Harry Potter 5
Yeah.
was just as long as the amount of time it just took me here.
Is
and
that
people
true?
were still like, whoa, Harry
Is
Potter.
that true?
That's probably more like 3 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Well,
the point is,
yeah, the point is,
so what? I've been reading other stuff.
okay. No, I'm just saying.
I have less time. I have
I'm
less
just saying.
lunch hours.
You've read a third of these,
Uh-huh.
so you gotta really
A third? Oh, dang.
yeah. Plus the prequels. So
Okay.
what are you gonna do?
And I like the books.
I know. I'm not saying you don't like them. I just think you're really. Maybe you're just hurting yourself.
I'm not hurting myself. I just
The
want
first
to read.
season
All right.
probably won't get past the first 4 books, so you might be
That's
okay.
probably
you might
true.
be okay to watch it.
Yeah, but they might pull stuff from later books as like a.
Oh yes.
Oh, this is coming.
Oh yes.
All right. I don't want to fight about these books anymore.
I don't
want
to fight about it either.
Let's just talk about.
I wasn't fighting. I just wanted to know. I wanted it to get on mic whether or not you're gonna read these books.
I don't want to
or
watch
the.
I wasn't gonna watch
I respect it.
The Expanse until I read caught up with the books. But
Yeah.
then I was like, I don't like these books
Yeah.
anymore.
I couldn't get into that book either.
So I switched to. But I did like the first book.
Yeah, but you gave up on the series.
I think it was the third book. I was
Okay.
like, this. Yeah, not doing it for me.
Well, all right.
And the third book ended with a cliffhanger.
And you didn't even care to resolve the cliffhanger.
Did not care.
Wow. Neither did the writers of Lois and Clark. Thank you very much.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry. It's still a fresh wound. It's a fresh wound
Yeah.
still.
Okay. All right. Let's talk New York Times best.
It was a
sellers list.
Kryptonian baby. Someone gave Lois and Clark a Kryptonian baby, and then there was just never
Yeah.
another episode. I got.
For more of Nick's
just-
spiel on Lois and Clark, turn into episodes 22, episodes 47, episodes 122, episode.
You know, I realize that I deserve that, but it still hurts.
I'm sorry.
It still hurts.
Hey, I'm also sorry about Lois and Clark.
Me too. For more on Superman, you can listen to episode 31, All the Books v Superman.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Oh, did you see that stupid Guardian article
No.
about how like a Batman versus Joker movie would make the Avengers look like Powerpuff Girls?
But
It was so dumb.
I think all Batman movies are Batman versus Joker movies,
Yes,
aren't
that's
they?
the
Okay.
thing. Also, that Joker movie hasn't come out yet. That Batman movie hasn't started filming yet. And the Powerpuff Girls are great. So what the frick is this Guardian article talking
don't
about?
know.
So stupid.
You're really upset.
It really made me mad.
really
Nobody
irked.
took it seriously. We were all, yeah. It was like, make the Avengers. It's like, okay.
Seems like
cool.
you took it seriously.
All right, I'm done.
Crying.
New York Times bestsellers list for hardcover fiction. Number
Angry
10
cry.
is...
Wow me. Wow me with this list.
It changed. It changed since I last did it.
Ooh, okay.
It does this.
Let me hear it. What's number 10?
Stupid show. All right, number 10 is Old Bones by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child.
Pass.
An expedition in the Sierra Nevada uncovers new twists to the events involving the Donner Party during the 1840s.
Pass.
When was the Donner Party? What is the Donner Party?
1840s,
Am I thinking of something else?
where they got trapped and ate each other.
Was that 1840?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like much of a party. That's me.
For more on Eric's hot takes on historical tragedies, tune in to episode 144, episode 23.
Hey, man.
Yes.
Number 9 is The Silent Patient by Alex McKillides.
Hey, do you want to hear my impression of the silent patient?
Oh, no.
Thank you.
All right, where are we? Number 9 is The Silent Patient by Alex McKillides. Theo Faber looks into the mystery of a famous painter who stopped speaking after shooting her husband. Yeah, we've talked about this before.
We have, yeah. It's old hat.
Yeah, this
old
is
hat.
old news. Silent Patient, more like get out of here. Make room for other
Yeah.
books. Patient.
Patient.
Number 8, The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. A nanny working in a technological laden house in Scotland goes to jail when one of the children dies. How much you want to bet the house killed the kid?
Ooh, like
Yeah.
Monster House, the DreamWorks film.
Oh,
I never
scary.
watched that.
With
haven't
Steve
seen it.
Buscemi.
Is he in that?
I think he plays the old man.
Oh, okay.
Number 7.
What about that one that was about like a sentient baseball bat? What are you doing?
What?
Everybody's Hero, I think it's called.
No idea.
It's about a sentient baseball bat.
Huh. Number 7, The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. Two boys respond to the horrors of Jim Crow-era reform school in ways that impact them decades later. I'm actually kind of... Oh, it's probably in the paperback. I'm sure if we went over the paperback bestsellers, we'd see that Underground Railroad is also...
Probably.
Picking up a
And
lot of
it, I imagine it.
Yeah. All right, number 6, One Good Deed. By David Baldacci. World War
Yes.
II veteran on parole.
Yes.
Must find a real killer in a small town or face going back to jail. That killer, the Donner Party.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, no.
So what happened in the Donner Party? Why'd they eat each other?
They were isolated in an overpass in a wagon, and they just were stuck. People were dying, and they were starving.
Okay, I guess I thought like someone Donner was like a serial killer.
I think that you're confusing the Donner Party with Jeffrey Dahmer.
That's it.
Okay.
All right.
We've solved it.
We solved the mystery.
Yep.
Number 5, The Inn by James Patterson and Candace Fox. The Donner Party gets trapped in the inn. It's a former Boston police detective who is now an innkeeper. He must shield a seaside town from the crew of criminals and winter storms.
Woo.
It gets real bad there. I remember one winter, oh boy, couldn't even walk. He just disappeared.
Is that true?
It was pretty deep.
Okay.
Yeah, we had school off for like a whole week.
That's fun.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like this winter of 97, I don't know what it was.
Mm.
96? It was sometime in the 90s.
Okay.
Maybe 95. For
Let's
all I
nail
know.
it down. Let's put everything else on hold.
The plows would plow the snow all into one bank. It was massive. Me and my friends would just climb on that thing for hours.
Yeah.
All right.
When I was in school, the people that would plow the school parking lot would often plow all of our sleds into a giant, like, snowy sled sculpture. Unpleasant.
What a jerk.
I know.
You ever see the
Jared
movie Snow
Rayburn?
Day? The Nickelodeon film Snow Day?
With Cuba Gooding Jr.?
No.
It's Snow Dogs.
Yeah.
Sorry. Chevy Chase.
No, actually the Cabin Boy.
Chris Elliott.
Yeah, Chris Elliott's playing the snowplow man.
What's that snow movie with Chevy Chase?
I couldn't even tell you. I think you're thinking cocaine, actually, here. Listen, number 4 is The Dark Side, and this
It's
is
called Snow Day
okay.
with Chevy Chase. Isn't that what you said?
Oh, yeah. Who's he playing?
He's-
Does he play like a dad?
I don't know.
He playing the principal or something?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
No, get into
Oh, jeez. We're looking.
Elliott in
We're
this?
taking a deep dive of the Snow Day film, starring Chevy Chase and Chris Elliott. We were talking about the same movie.
This is it. Oh man.
Wow. Great. Iggy Pop's also in it, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Is he?
Yeah, he sure is. Plays Mr. Zellweger. Matthew Broderick is an uncredited narrator. Boy, I can tell you what we're going to be doing this weekend.
Number 4, The Dark Side by Danielle Steele. She's getting into the Star Wars universe.
Finally, Danielle.
Just kidding.
Well, she's written every other book.
That's
so
true, yeah.
All she had left was this
Yeah.
or Babylon 5.
Yeah. Painful childhood memories surface for Zoe Morgan when she has a child of her own.
What do you expect when she's a member of the Donner Party?
I heard that happens. You have a kid, and suddenly all the things you thought you buried deep inside
Yeah.
your own emotional closet, they
Yeah.
just come back out.
Yep. You find yourself in a space prison of your own making.
Number 3, The Girl Who Lived Twice.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a Bond title.
Second chance. Because she's living twice.
David Lesgrants.
Oh, so
Mikhail
this is a
Blomfitz helps
Okay.
Lisbeth Salander
yeah.
put her past behind her in the latest installment of Stieg Larsson's Millennium series.
This is like Girl with Dragon Tattoo series.
Millennium series.
Yeah,
Time to change the title.
probably. Yeah.
So that's 20 years too
I
late.
take issue with being called a millennial. I say if you can remember a time before the internet, you're not a millennial.
Okay.
I can remember a time before the internet.
Yeah.
I didn't have the internet until I was a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get wistful and think I wish I had lived and experienced like 80s arcade culture a little bit more.
Yeah.
Nick wishes for the 1950s where he could just sit in his his dad's Cadillac,
Yep.
feet up in the window,
Yep.
happy there's no way to communicate with anybody but a proper letter.
A medical doctor blowing unfiltered cigarette smoke right in my face.
No. If it helps, I definitely don't consider you a millennial. You're way
Thank
too
you.
curmudgeon-y
Thank
about
you.
it all.
Thank you.
So I thought the cutoff was like, is it 84?
I was born in '83, but I'm technically, like, when you look it up, I'm in the range, but I just don't think,
All right.
you know. If you went to the library and checked out records the first time they were cool, you're not a millennial.
Wow.
So
All right, move over, Jeff.
if you know how to
Foxworthy.
use a rodeo, a rotary phone, you're not a millennial.
Okay. Listen, I don't like avocados.
So you're not a millennial.
But I
What are you
get-
going to put on your toast?
I usually just put margarine or butter.
Grandpa
Yeah,
alert.
people don't like margarine either.
Wow.
That's old hat.
Yep.
So, number 2, Where the Crawdads Sing, Delia Owens.
Reddit.
If you can remember a time
Number
before
2?
the Crawdads Sing.
That's exciting news. Somebody dethroned the Crawdad girl, the Marsh girl. What is it?
In a quiet town of the North Carolina coast, so in 1969,
Every day,
a woman
like the one before,
who survived alone in the marsh becomes a murder
a
suspect.
little town full of crawdads.
All right, number 1
I'm ready.
is
Don't
A
be-
Better Man by Louise Penny.
Oh, okay.
The
All right.
15th, geez Louise, book in the Chief Inspector
Wait.
Gamache series.
I think you said "Geez Louise" and you didn't even mean to.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
the author's name is Louise.
Oh, that's
so
good, yeah.
Pretty good.
The search for a missing girl is imperiled by rising floodwaters across the province.
I
still haven't seen Darkwater.
with Kevin Costner.
Is that the one where people are robbing the bank during the rain?
Oh, that's Hard Rain.
I still haven't seen Hard Rain.
Hard Rain with Danny Glover and Christian Slater.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good time.
All right.
That's a good time. Definitely filmed on a closed set.
All right.
Yeah.
For me, wishing I had seen Dark Rain, go back a couple episodes, I think.
Look
It
back.
seems recent.
It's a fun movie.
I've never seen it. I've
pretty
seen the
good.
beginning, I
It's
think.
pretty good. I used to have it on Blu-ray.
I think I saw like the beginning where they're like, it's raining a lot. Well, as
Yeah.
long as bad things don't
As long
happen.
as no one tries to rob a bank.
Yeah, we never went to go see Hurricane Heist.
I know.
One of our
I
great-
do regret that.
One of our great.
But I have seen
regrets.
Hobbs and Shaw. So,
Yeah.
you know, I never have been. I've only read the first Louise Penny book, but she's probably. I'd say she's in our top 5 as far as favorite authors locally.
Oh, yeah.
Spot, Louise Penny.
People
We
love
can't
her.
keep her books on the shelf, so I probably should get back in there and try again. The first one spent so much time setting up like the world that it felt like kind of a bogged down.
Oh, the
to get
Gamache
through.
verse.
Yeah, bogged down like the marshland and the crawdads. I just couldn't
Uh-huh.
like break through.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try again.
What's the difference between a marsh and a bog? I wouldn't want to live in a bog, but I also
Well-
wouldn't want to live in a marsh.
I think bogs you can like walk on, right? Bogs are like a marsh is kind of like a swamp. Marshes are alive.
Okay.
Swamps are dead. Marshes are alive. And I think that
Bogs are.
I think that bogs are sort of like almost land masses that float on top.
Ugh.
Yeah. Of water.
I don't like any of that.
Sorry.
I wouldn't want to live in any of those places.
Well, no one's inviting you to.
So probably way too many alligators too.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Alligators and Yodas. What's Yoda's race?
Yoda's race?
Yeah, his,
I don't know.
his space race.
I don't know.
His 1960s space race.
Sorry. Should have asked David Dvorkin when we had him on here. He could
yeah.
have told us.
All right, let's get to the segment while you look up what race Yoda is.
You think I'm not doing that already?
I'm sure he's like a
I'm sure he's.
he's a Ferlengian or something.
Thank you, Luigi.
Hmm.
Are you going to talk about your YA
Yeah.
books?
Okay. So this is a sex.
Species unknown.
What?
Species unknown on Yoda.
This is on Wikipedia.
Maybe he just checked the box, would rather not say
Oh,
when
jeez.
filling out his Star Wars.
Yeah, his application.
Yeah.
So, is this post or pre Clone Wars?
I think that's probably post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get the Empire after
No,
him.
he doesn't.
He's
He
like,
doesn't.
oh no, look, a rabbit doodle is hanging out in.
Do you remember when Weird Al Yankovic sang Yoda
Yeah.
for us?
That was good. If that was going to have the answer, if anything was going to have the answers, it would have been Weird Al's
I think
song,
Weird
yeah.
Al would at least know the answer.
Yeah, maybe not share it. All right, sexy new books.
Let's do it.
Light.
YA edition.
Yeah, well, a light version. Nick's not bringing any books to the table. I don't want to say he's not excited for this segment.
I don't
because
want. I don't want
that
you to
makes
say
me
that.
sad.
I think that puts people in the wrong
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah, but I am sad.
You're sad? Why are you
Yeah.
sad? Why are you sad?
If you're not, when you're not excited, I'm not excited.
I am excited.
Our excitement feeds off of each other,
Listen.
like the Donner Party.
Let me, oh boy. Oh boy. Cut it out.
How tragic was the Donner? Like, were they bad people or were they nice
I
people who
think-
made bad choices?
I think they made the only choice that they had available.
I would've
think it was
hiked.
do this or die.
I would have hiked.
Well, that's an option.
You and me
Listen,
in a wagon, and we
let
got to
me-
make it
let me-
across.
let
I'm
me
going to
explain
carry
to you.
your
Let me explain to
body
you.
across that
I was
snowdrift.
originally not excited about doing a sexy new book club segment.
Right.
But then we came around to the idea of doing a special YA centric,
Uh-huh.
and then I was excited again. So I'm ready to hear about these YA books.
All
you
right,
picked.
let me crack the knuckles. They didn't
Don't
make
do
any
that.
sound.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
it leads to arthritis down the road.
Oh boy,
Really?
I'm about 30 years in.
I hope you never want to open a pickle jar.
I do.
Bad news.
I love opening pickle jars.
Bad news.
Oh boy. All right, so the book I have right now is a James Patterson Presents book.
Oh,
get
does it say Jimmy in the corner?
Nope, this is James
Not a
Patterson.
Jimmy.
Jimmy Patterson Presents is for the younger books.
Oh,
Young adults get the
is
James
this a
Patterson.
Bookshots Flames?
No.
Oh.
This is called Swipe Right for Murder.
Oh, boy.
A little Tinder play there.
Oh,
Derek.
you think James Patterson's on Tinder? He's like a billionaire.
Well, maybe Derek Millman is.
oh yeah.
All right. Finding himself alone in a posh New York City hotel room for the night, Aiden does what any red-blooded 17-year-old would do. He tries to hook up with someone new, but that lapse in judgment leads him to a room with a dead guy and a mysterious flash drive. Two things that spark an epic case of mistaken identity and put Aiden on the run for from the authorities, his friends, his family, the people who are about to kill him, and especially from his troubled past. Oh boy, inspired by an Alfred Hitchcock classic? Which one?
I don't know.
This whirlwind caper has razor-sharp humor, devastating emotional stakes, and a thrilling storyline with an explosive conclusion and impossible to put down or ever forget.
It kind of sounds like they're doing a take on Dial M for Murder. I would assume is what we're talking about. Wouldn't you?
I'm not sure. I guess I haven't seen enough Hitchcock.
Dial M is written by Frederick Knott, who is
Nope.
what?
I was hoping this forward had something.
Oh.
The forward's from James Patterson. So he does have a written thing in here.
By James Patterson and Frederick Knott.
Yeah, I really want to know exactly. Oh, so this guy was Millman also wrote Scream All Night, that big like scary horror collection under the R.L. Stein name and everything.
Oh, okay.
That Wendy Corsi Staub.
Yes, our friend Wendy Corsi Staub.
She sent me a thank you card with
She
a Dunkin' Donuts
yes.
gift card.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Very
of her.
nice. Not number one, chapter one. Ooh, the chapters have names.
That's fun.
That's fun. Chapter 1 is named Death Rays. It's late afternoon at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, and we're splurging on ridiculously overpriced tea and discussing sudden death. Unfortunately, the topic is all too relevant at the moment. Spring break during my final year at Whitloff Academy took something of a turn when two things happened. The first thing was my Aunt Meredith, who I barely know, was injured by a Vegas hotel death ray. So what happens is they built this new hotel in Vegas, but the Swiss Starkature,
You okay?
yeah, I couldn't read that, who designed the thing was apparently, Starkitect. He's a Starkitect. He's an architect who's a star. He's a big name in the architect universe. Starkitect.
Okay.
Who designed the thing was apparently more concerned with his ego than the desert sun's relationship to the concave shape of the building and how it might reflect off a glass front. They're technically calling it a solar convergence. But let's be
Okay.
honest, death ray sounds way cooler.
It does.
I'm not on board.
No, I don't
Let's
like
keep
it
going.
at all.
It does sound way cooler. If your sentence ends with way cooler, You've probably lost me. Everyone who was on the pool deck at noon caught on fire like caterpillars trapped under a magnifying glass. Okay, maybe not literal flames, but my aunt is hospitalized in Nevada with second-degree burns, and now we have to go visit her. That's too bad. Let's skip ahead.
Let's do it.
Let's skip ahead to Chapter 8, Shiloh. People are staring. I don't know what I look like, but based on people's faces, it can't be good. I've been wearing these clothes since last night, and they're stuck to my skin. I'm still dripping. My sopping underwear is chafing my inner thighs so badly I developed an unfortunate limp to go with the rest of this madness. I see the conductor punching people's tickets. I race from car to car as I try to outpace him. I finally reach the half-empty car toward the back of the train. I find an empty two-seater and plop myself down. This kid got to a train.
I guess he did.
New York City.
Yeah.
I just have to get back to the city. That's all I have to do. The seat squishes against my wet butt. Oh no, he's been framed for murder and he has wet butt.
Oh no.
I lean forward, my cold, heavy hair hanging down. I put my head. We're just learning about how long this. Let's skip ahead.
That's boring.
Yeah, I'm not reading this anymore. I'm not too surprised by Jimmy Patterson Presents things not holding my attention.
Look, it's definitely not Dial M for Murder.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what that plot is. It sounds a little like maybe The Man Who Knew Too Much, or possibly Rope.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to know. I want to
Right.
know now. Yeah.
Well, I can't show you.
I wasn't interested in that at all.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Usually I feel like I bring a lot of winners and Nick brings the negativity.
Well,
But today, I feel like I deserve this negativity.
but
Hand me that book over
it's
there.
not meant to be for you.
Who's it meant to be for?
I'm just saying I'm negative towards this book. I'm not negative towards you.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to make that clear.
This book is called Destroy All Monsters by Sam J. Miller. He's the
Guys,
author.
it's North by Northwest.
North by North.
It's
Oh.
North by Northwest, according to Hachette, the publisher.
Huh.
Alfred Hitchcock's mistaken identity caper, North by Northwest, gets a fresh, modern take in the vein of Simon versus the Homo sapien agenda in Swipe Right for Murder.
Okay. The mind forgets, the soul remembers.
Amen
There's a
to that.
dinosaur on this camera. It has a camera on the cover.
Yeah?
There's a little dinosaur.
Oh.
I like that.
What's that called again? Destroy.
Destroy All Monsters. This is not
bad.
related to Godzilla or that video game from the early aughts. Ash and
Rampage?
No. There was a game called Destroy All Monsters.
Oh.
Or maybe it was Destroy All Aliens. I think it was Destroy. Anyway,
Mars Needs Moms.
Ash and Solomon live two separate worlds.
Makes sense.
Solomon spends most of his time in Darkside, an otherworldly city teeming with fantastic beasts and oozing corruption. There, he and his fellow Othersiders are targeted by the establishment, forces that fear them and their awe-inspiring powers, forces that control Solomon's city and want to capture him, break him, and take away his powers. They call him a monster, and they want him destroyed. Ash lives in the real world, the one with school and bullies and boys and clueless parents. Ash wishes she could escape to another dimension too, but when she looks at Solomon, she knows there is something very wrong with him, something in his brain, something that started the day she fell from his treehouse, a day that neither one of them can remember. As Solomon drifts further and further away from reality, Ash becomes desperate to bring him back, but to do so, she's certain she must recover her memory from the day 12 years ago and find out what really happened.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
What was that?
Just me being like, oh.
I like this dinosaur sticker on the camera in case I didn't say that. Chapter 1 is told in Ash's perspective. We're switching between characters. Okay.
He seems like he's the author, maybe a dinosaur enthusiast.
Destroy All Monsters author?
Yes.
Sorry, Sam J. Miller?
Yes.
Go on.
It just says he got married in the shadow of a Tyrannosaurus skeleton.
Okay, it's not a contest, Sam.
Well, it just
Miller.
seems like he's given it a little bit more than you are.
Okay, you know what?
He also won a Nebula Award for The Art of Starving.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, I went to the Jurassic Park ride in Orlando Studios for my honeymoon.
did you get married there?
No.
Okay. My point to Sam J. Miller.
I don't know if my wife would have agreed to that. Like, say our vows on the water drop right before the T-Rex comes
Well,
out.
if not, you're married to the wrong person. I can tell
He's
you that.
sleeping on the front porch again, my mom said, her voice sounding sad the way only Solomon can make it. Do you want me to have your father talk to him this time, Ash? I did not want that. Dad would scare the bleep out of Solomon.
Bleep.
Our front porch was probably the last safe place Solomon had, and I could never let Dad take that away from him. I'll go, I said, getting out of the bed even though it was 2 a.m. Oh, jeez. I'm just going to bed at that time.
Yeah, really. This guy over here.
Not that time mattered.
Night owl.
I hadn't been asleep. I stopped by the kitchen, fished 2 sodas out of the fridge, Diet Coke for me, vanilla Coke for him. I always made sure we had vanilla Coke. What, you're getting Coke? It's 2 a.m.
It's crazy. You're never going to go to sleep. Why are you fishing things out of your fridge?
Ah, yeah.
It's a weird
When
verb.
I stepped out onto the porch, I was almost ashamed to wake him. There was a cold edge to the night, and he was wearing a tank top and what looked like boxer shorts. He seemed so small in spite of the bulk of his biceps, the sturdiness of his shoulders. Well, you just said he was small.
Yeah.
So don't then try to make you're
Small
overcompensating
and
here.
sturdy. Absolutely. Can I just point out that I
Uh-huh.
don't like the title Destroy All Monsters.
Okay.
If it was called either The Mind Forgets or The Soul Remembers with the same cover, I would probably want to read it. I don't want to tell Sam J. Miller how to do his job.
Right.
I'm just saying. Both of those are intriguing
Mhm.
titles with that image.
Someone at Solomon's aunt's house or aunt, or was that his mother's friend Seahawks? He was. Boy, I can't read anything tonight.
This is
What? Go on. See,
sometimes-
there it is. There's that
sometimes-
patent.
No,
negativity.
no.
You're right. This isn't patent.
Sometimes these dry
gotta-
reads of these books do not give it.
Fine. Let's get to Solomon. He's
They
supposed
all
to be.
they all
Craig.
can't be Harry's last tax cut.
Let's-
Okay.
No. Let's get to Solomon.
Okay.
Jeez, when do we get to Solomon's mind? Chapter 4. Solomon. Good morning, Rada said when I came out of my room. A cup of hot sweet milk waited for me on the table.
Please calm down.
I hugged her, my landlady, my auntie, my foster mother, my friend. Immense and unstoppable. She'd taken me in 4 years ago when Ash had fallen sick and her mother, the queen, had kicked me out of the palace.
Why is this so
Traumatic
aggressive?
at the time,
Is this
but
such
in
an-
some ways the best thing that had ever happened to me. Sit, Rada said. Can't. I need to get going. You need to sit. I sat. I sipped my tea as fast as I could, watched the underbridge come awake. The shanty town beneath Dragon Pagoda
Underbridge?
Bridge was as the quietest now, before the night shift workers trudged home and the day shift ones marched out. The wind was right, so we got the breeze from the river instead of the swamps to the north. I kissed Rada on the cheek, then crossed to the square to the shower stalls. How was that?
I don't think it was good, but I think
What?
I think your aggressive reading of it made it very confusing. So I don't know.
No, so I think it's pretty obvious.
I honestly don't know.
Solomon hit his head,
Okay.
and Ash is just trying to. I don't think he's actually in a fantasy world.
Okay.
I think it's all in his mind.
Is that better?
No, what? Here you go.
I'm just asking, is that better?
I got this other book here.
Okay.
This other book is called. Let's call it. Look, we have to do the Batman episode next week.
Oh no, I know.
This one is called "Let's Call It a Doomsday" by Katie Henry. Are you prepared? Asked the tagline.
Well, okay, first of
Oh,
all,
I thought you were gonna answer.
no, it's just the cover doesn't make any sense. Because
Guys, it's a soup. It's a can of tomatoes.
yes,
Which you would save in case of a doomsday. And the tape says doomsday.
I know that, but the can also doesn't say anything about tomatoes. It just says let's call it and then
Doomsday.
doomsday.
On the stick, right.
But why does it say let's call it a?
I'm
I'm just saying it doesn't make sense.
okay. Boy.
Why the tape saying doomsday? Like if you're just
Right.
gonna throw away what tomato
Uh-huh.
cans say, why doesn't the whole label just
So
say
you're
it?
wondering why doesn't it say Campbell's Doomsday?
Or like tomatoes, or that's just covering the whole title. I'm saying it does not make sense to its own internal logic.
I'm gonna put a picture of this book up on.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna put a picture of
I
all these
stand
books
by it.
up.
I
Give me
stand
this
by.
book. It's the cover's right on the screen. They can see
Fine.
it. All right. There are so many ways the world could end. There could be a fire, a catastrophic flood, a super eruption that spews lakes of lava. Ellis Kimball has made the notes of all possible scenarios, and she is prepared for each one. What she doesn't expect is meeting Hannah Marks in her therapist's waiting room. Hannah calls the meeting fate. After all, Ellis is scared about the end of the world. Hannah knows when it's going to happen. Despite Ellis's anxiety about what others think of her, about what she's doing wrong, about the safety of her loved ones, the two girls become fast friends. As Ellis tries to help Hannah decipher the details of her doomsday premonition, she learns there are secrets Hannah isn't telling her. But with time ticking down, the search for answers only raises more questions. When it does happen, who will believe them? How do you prepare for the end of the world when it feels like your life is just getting started? Hear, hear. By Katie Henry. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this. All right, Nick's going to cover his ears and hum.
No,
Listeners,
I'm
this is
not.
just between you and me. Here is one way the world could end. In a peaceful corner of the northwest Wyoming, under the feet of park rangers, herds of deer, and thousands of tourists to Yellowstone National Park lies a giant reservoir of burning, deadly magma called the Yellowstone Caldera. First, there would be earthquakes, the kind you can't sleep through. Then would come the super eruption, a rare seismic event. Rare, but possible. Rare, but overdue. The park would be a lake of lava, but the real problem would be the ash, which would blanket the entire United States, coast to coast. In the Rockies, the ash would crush buildings, devastate crops, suffocate animals and people. Even a few inches would make national highways impassable, ruin farms, shut down air travel. Life as we know it would be over. The entire planet would grow colder. Here's another way the world could end. I could fail my driving test for the third time. She is a teenager at heart. Oh,
I was way in. I was
Uh-huh.
really liking it, but that driving test one, that was
Twice
a clunker.
isn't as many times. Twice isn't even that many times to fail. Two
Clunk.
times, that's all. And my parents
Clunk.
took at me. My parents look at me like I murdered something cute and fuzzy. I take a breath. There are bigger problems in the world than me not being able to drive my sister to ballet. Millions of people don't have clean drinking water. 2/3 of the animals on Earth might be dead in 5 years. Did you know that? At any time, a gamma ray burst could destroy the ozone layer and kill us all. Could we bring this conversation back to you? Martha asked. Who's Martha? Oh, we're not actually having a conversation. She's a therapist and I'm a client. And even though her office is made to look like someone's living room, we're not doing this for fun.
Your thoughts?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's a young adult book for the young adult audience.
Okay.
It's about the doomsday, but it's also about you
Failing
and
a driver's
living your
test.
life. It's relatable. It's
I had to reposition when I parallel parked, and I also hit a car, but I still passed because everything else was pristine.
I had two strikes. She even informed me, she's like, you make one more mistake, you're not getting your driver's license.
Wow.
And I got everything right
And
after
then
that.
and then you said, "When's the baby due?" And she was like, "I'm not pregnant."
And at the end, though, she was like, well, I see no reason you don't deserve to have your driver's license. I'm like,
Wow.
you just said two things.
Well,
You said I was one strike away from never being able to drive.
you know, Meatloaf said it best: 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
You're on your way.
You know what is bad?
What?
Meatloaf.
Huh.
The food.
Oh, really?
I hate meatloaf.
I mean, I haven't had meatloaf in a long time, but back in
Sure.
the day, I used to enjoy the meatloaf every now and then.
All right.
Loaf, I find, is an unpleasant word.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a food option and
Yeah.
you say it's in a loaf
Yeah.
form,
Yeah.
unless you're talking bread, it's weird.
But you don't.
Olive loaf. No thanks.
If loaf was a strong and like a word we like to hear, we wouldn't call people loafs. We wouldn't say they're just loafing around.
Mm,
We'd say like, man, that guy's a steak.
yeah. Staking around. Staking his claim.
All right, look, I brought one other book. This is a
Okay.
J book, our junior book, a juvenile book. This is
You know
younger
what?
than a young adult.
You know
books.
what? Listen, I was doing some of my research to look in here and see some YA books that I really liked. And I feel like maybe I just don't like YA books.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm a weird old grump?
Well, I think it just means you're in your 30s.
Late 30s, mid 30s,
You're in your mid 30s.
later mid 30s.
Okay.
Because I was looking, and the only
Mhm.
like YA books that I've read and rated high anytime
Mhm.
recently have been like genre type stuff.
Listen, I just watched the movie Booksmart.
Did
with
you like
my
it?
wife? She really liked it.
Yeah, I
she
liked
laughed
it.
quite a bit. I liked it. I thought it was good, but I did not enjoy most of the movie because I cannot stand high school anything. It doesn't matter how good the movie is. Put it in high school, I'm out. I think that's a reason why I don't like Homecoming,
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming,
Yeah.
as much as the second one because it's just too much high school.
Too much
And so
school.
I just when people are like, oh, we got to go to this party. Oh, my test. I'm like, none of this matters. Everything you're doing doesn't matter until.
The teen librarian, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm just saying high school life
Right,
is
for you.
harder for me to relate to these days.
Does that have a dragon on the front of it?
I brought a dragon book. All right. This book is called Dragonfell by Sarah Prineas. So again, this is for the younger audience, but we never bring any of these books to the table. But since Nick didn't bring a book at all to the table,
We agreed on this.
let's check this out. Raffi Bywater is unlike anyone else. The people in his village don't trust him because he spends too much time in an abandoned dragon lair. When a stranger, Mr. Flinch, accuses Raffi of being dragon-touched, Raffi sets off to discover the truth about dragons and about himself. On his journey, Raffi befriends a brilliant scientist, Maud, who has secrets of her own. Together, they search for dragons while escaping from a dangerous dragon hunter, engaging in a steam engine car chase, and figuring out what Mr. Flinch really wants with Raffi. And, oh yes, they do find dragons. Be careful, Raffi. Dragons are not what you think they are. That's usually how it goes, yeah. All right. author of The Magic Thief. Let's do this. Chapter 1. If I stand at the very edge of the high fell that overlooks my village, and the wind is bright and cold, and I lean forward just a bit, and just a bit more so that the wind is holding me up, it feels like flying. And then my foot slips, and I almost am flying. Falling, I mean. I totter for a second on the edge, and with a whirl of my arms, I catch my balance. That was close. I would have fallen a long way, that's for certain sure, before I hit the ground. The day is fine and bright, the blue sky scudding with the clouds, the grass on the hills holding on to the last smudge of green before winter. The chilly wind blows right through me, but I am not cold. I am never cold. I have very keen eyes for things that are far away, and from up here on the Dragon Fell, I can see my village, a little cluster of cottages and smoky chimneys clinging to the steep slopes of the fell. Over it all the morning light flows as sweet and golden as honey. Clouds race overhead, casting the village in shadow, and then the sun flashes out again. It's followed by a gust of wind that rushes past, and just for a moment, I want to leap in the air and rush after it. Nick's bringing the mic back to us.
I like that one the best.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Listen, this is a book that I think if I had picked up as a kid, I would have just kept reading.
You would have just kept going?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
You going to read it?
Maybe.
Of the four, which of these are you most likely to read?
Yes, it's going to be Dragonfell. It might be the
Dragonfell.
monster book. It might be Destroy All Monsters.
Okay. Here's what I was going to say before you started accusing me of being old.
I didn't accuse you of being old.
It's on mic. I find that I'm much more like forgiving and more interested in reading like junior level fiction. And I think because often with YA, it's just it has to be so like in the now, you know what I mean? They work so hard to like be in sync with like the way like teens or whoever are talking that I often find them to be a little bit like too precious for me. Like,
Okay.
you know, we just heard everything she was saying in the tomato can disaster book
Uh-huh.
about like, well, it's the end of the world for losing
Sure.
my, you know. I just find that to be a little exhausting. I think just because, like you said, I'm old and it doesn't like hit me directly. Where I feel like with junior books, they don't do so much of that. Like I'm a personality, waka waka waka, and just kind of, you know, story and
Right.
and bring it to you on a more like basic level.
Look,
And
I'll
I
watch
think
the
that's why I
Muppets
like
in high
them a little
school.
bit more. You will?
If that's the thing that will get
The
me to-
Muppets in high school?
high school, yeah.
Wow, man,
So-
Disney, are you listening? They
Uh,
probably are. I mean, I think they.
I
own
know
the
what you're
the
talking
library
about.
now.
YA books are way more into interpersonal relationships.
Yes.
Teens becoming themselves.
Yeah.
And accepting the others around
Yeah.
them. It becomes very much more about like how you're feeling at all times about everything.
Right.
Whereas this book is like, this is just going to be an adventure.
Yeah.
So they become more about the adventure. I guess they're more plot
Yeah.
driven a bit.
Yes.
It might seem like at first.
Agreed.
But the emotions, they're less more, they're less of the teen angst.
Right.
It's more kids aren't there just yet, I guess, in this book anyway.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
yeah, there you
So
go.
is this the start of a series? Do you know? Dragon Fell, is it?
Oh, hold on. Let's check this out. Let's turn to the back. I don't know.
Hey, I've got a suggestion for you live on air.
Uh-huh.
What if we
Ow.
both read Dragonfell
Oh my
and do a
goodness.
whole episode about Dragonfell?
About Dragonfell?
Do you want to do it?
It could be a quick read.
Do you want to
For
do it?
sure. Maybe, yeah.
Handshake.
Handshake.
Handshake on the camera.
Look, I saw the founder. I know handshake deals aren't always binding.
Okay,
Boy.
Dragonfell. We're coming for you.
That is the first time we've shook hands in a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Natural. Felt natural.
Good.
All right. So
Felt
you-
like I was shaking my grandpa's hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you're so old.
Yeah.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
know. It felt like I was shaking the hand of a tween girl. So I understand expectations aren't always what, you expect.
What a mean episode this has been on both accounts.
I guess so.
Yeah. Do we have something we haven't talked about?
An interpersonal conflict?
Yeah.
If this were a YA, we definitely
Yeah,
would have
sure.
an interpersonal conflict. And we'd have to accept that the quirks we have make us who we are.
I've known Nick for almost 10 years, and it's finally starting to wear me down.
Was that just a section from your diary? Hey, I want you to know that I purposely didn't say journal.
Thanks.
Okay.
Whenever I've written in my journal, I've
Yes.
always called it Captain's Log.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not even that much of a Star Trek fan.
No, but I like being the idea of a captain on my own adventure.
I would be remiss if I didn't point out that today is the anniversary of Star Trek the Animated Series, first airing in 1973. On this
Maybe we
day.
need to start like working from an outline
yeah.
on this podcast.
Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we do. Okay, so in conclusion for our Sexy New Book Club, I'm going to go through them real quick, and you tell me thumbs up, thumbs down for you. Destroy All Monsters.
It had me interested.
Do you think that it'll be a book that would be intriguing to the general public?
Yes.
Okay. Tomato can one.
I don't know.
Let's call it a doomsday.
Let's call it a doomsday. I can get it. I think it depends on like this other character that's supposed to come in that we didn't read about.
Yes.
I think that it could be like, boy, they're quirky. I'm a little quirky.
My concern, based solely on first impressions and ignorance, would be that this would be like a style over substance kind of book.
Oh, okay.
That would be my
sure.
concern. Dragonfell?
Thumbs up.
You think people will also
well,
like
I think, again, I'm coming just off I feel like if I had picked this up at 12 years old, I would have been like, keep
that?
going.
Read it. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Hitchcocky one, North by Northwest.
Swipe right for murder.
Yeah.
I wasn't really digging.
I wasn't digging it either. I do like the cover, but I think maybe that's a no.
I think all the lines were just like, bull.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah. Wet
Because is there a big like hunger for mysteries in the YA genre?
I almost grabbed the murder trending books. There's
Okay.
there's the You Owe Me a Murder, the Two Can Keep a Secret, what was it, Crazy House or something?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
I think there is this like, I don't know, this trying to catch up with like the true crime craze that's happening
Yeah.
like in podcasting
Okay.
and in adult books. I think the YA market is also trying to chase that now.
Because I've noticed that a little bit more. It seems like you are seeing more that are
Mm-hmm.
mystery based, and I don't think that was true for a long time.
No.
So it
Well,
seems
was
like maybe that started.
it was fairy tale reinterpretations.
Right.
It was, yeah. So I think right now, this whole like,
we're heading
Yeah.
into like a mystery.
they're trying to do
phase.
the Girl on the Train, but for YA.
I see. It's always interesting when we do the Edgar Awards and that sort of thing, because in the past they're always kind of like groping for like, let's find a mystery that is YA,
Right.
You know. And here now it seems like maybe next year we'll see
Maybe, yeah.
a stronger field that is genuinely like mystery driven.
Yeah.
So interesting. That one doesn't seem like a big
No.
winner, but
it all
it
kind
does
of,
seem like a
but it
start.
also kind of seems very like, guilty pleasure kind of like mystery writing. Like
Yeah.
mystery writing, isn't going to be like super. It seems very schlocky
okay.
in a lot of ways, like the murder trendings and the You Owe Me and all this stuff. Like
Mhm.
very kind of like tongue in cheek
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. Unlike that not horrible, but unlike that very depressing Joyce Carol Oates book that I read.
Which one?
The one about the dad who murdered the mom.
Oh, Freaky Green Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great book.
Yeah.
But it is depressing.
Like that one was
A la Joyce
depressing
Carol Oates, yeah.
and dark, and these other ones just kind of seem like they're fun murder mysteries. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing this supply of sexy new books for us this time.
Yeah, no problem.
As we mentioned, we're going to be talking to comic book legend Steve Englehart. So if you have questions that you'd like us to ask him, feel free to reach out to us at soundcloud.com/allthebooks, Twitter at allthebookshow, Facebook at David A. Howe Public Library, or allthebookshow@gmail.com. You can find us any of those places. While you're there downloading things and subscribing to our podcasts and getting your friends to, feel free to rate and review,
Oh yeah.
retweet and share, and
Yeah.
help people find us.
You owe us a rating.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's the next one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. You listen.
Hello, and thanks
wanna
to our
get off
friends
there,
on the
I guess.
Angelica radio station. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday night.
That's true. Yeah.
I've
How's
already.
the weather Wednesday?
Yeah,
supposed
what's
to be?
it like? I
You
don't
keep
know.
going.
Okay. I've already mentioned the book clubs that we have coming up. Eric and I are leading a special Batman Day themed book club where we're reading and discussing Frank Miller's Batman Year One.
Yeah.
That is Friday the 20th at 4 o'clock. The very next day, which is officially Batman Day,
Uh-huh.
September 21st, we're going to be showing the film version of Batman Year One at 3 o'clock down in the auditorium.
Which has, I can't remember the actor's name, but he plays James Gordon on Gotham.
Yeah.
He's the voice of Batman.
And something.
And it's Bryan Cranston as Commissioner Gordon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
On the 26th, we're going to be doing our banned books book club where we're reading. Why can I never? I get to
Catcher
this
in the
title.
Rye.
Thank you. Thank you. I always get there and I start to say
Yeah.
The Great Gatsby, and that's not it. It's Catcher in the
Oh,
Rye.
yeah.
We're doing it on the 26th. And then the first Tuesday of October, October 1st, we're going to be reading and discussing Like Water for Chocolate over at the Creative Arts Center. So join us for that.
Angelica, I hope you're enjoying your partly cloudy Wednesday night with an 81-degree high.
I'm glad that you went the extra
Tomorrow
mile.
might be a little rainy, though.
Yeah.
Well, don't quote me on that, but it might be.
Don't quote him. Don't quote him. And then, of course, we're starting up programming down in the auditorium again. So we have Roger Pettengill coming to do a special songwriting evening. Should be a lot of fun. And we've got a pretty packed schedule coming up. Anything you want to mention teen, kid-wise?
Teen kid-wise,
Yeah.
we're doing a Dragonfell book club. No, we're not.
Might as well.
let's see. So Kids Hangout is starting the 10th again, and Teen Night starting the 11th again.
Exciting.
Yeah. Also, the 13th, we are showing Disney's Aladdin, the live-action one.
Oh,
So there you go.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it for this Weird Uneven episode, and we will see you next week when we talk Batman.
Nice.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we did it. I'm looking forward to reading Dragonfell.
Yeah. We didn't talk about your rings.
Oh, yeah.
None.
I got a sweet set of all the Green Lantern rings at GameStop.
Oh, it was
The whole thing
GameStop.
at GameStop. Yep.
I better go get mine.
You know what's crazy?
What?
I showed my son all the rings,
Uh-huh.
you know, and there's like 10,
Right.
whatever there are. And then we were somewhere else that he wanted to see the symbols again, so I pulled it up. And this set had the Phantom ring in it as well. So I showed him the picture, and he's like, "What's with a new ring?" And I was pretty amazed that he just like zeroed in on the fact that one was new and it was different than the others.
The Phantom ring is.
Oh,
the
that
black ring?
No, it's
Of
not
the-
like the Death Ring.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. The Phantom Lantern is a different thing towards the
Okay.
end of the New 52 run, which I've read in its entirety, everyone.
The funky Phantom ring?
Yeah, the Funky Phantom
All right.
ring. Yeah.
And
Gosh.
With that.